Chapter 14. Minley and the dragon had sat in the clearing and made camp for the night. As the sun fell and the moon rose, the dragon showed her how he could make sparks by scratching his claws along a stone, and they built a small campfire. As Minley and the dragon made no moves to go further into the forest, the monkeys had quieted down, but they still watched. "There are plenty of peaches for all," Dragon said. "Those monkeys don't have to be so greedy." "Really?" Minley asked. "Yes," Dragon said. "The monkeys are so foolish. They just want more and more even when they don't need it. I have seen them refuse to let go of rotten mushrooms and fight over piles of mud." At those words, Minley sat up and her eyes flashed with quick thinking. Piles of mud? Suddenly, Minley remembered the two children fighting over their piles of mud as she had left her village. Instead of going inside for dinner, the children had clung to their pretend dishes of dirt. They were so foolish. Could the monkeys be that foolish? They were too selfish for trading or bribes, but maybe they were so greedy that they could be foolish enough to be tricked. Maybe if she... "I'm going to make rice," Minley said abruptly. "Oh," the dragon said, "you must be hungry. Too bad we cannot get you some peaches." "It's not for me," Minley said, and she smiled mysteriously. "It's for the monkeys." "The monkeys?" the dragon said. "Why? If you mean to use it as a gift or as a way to bribe them, it will not work. They will take it and eat it, but they will not let you through." "That is what I'm expecting," Minley said as she filled her pot with water and cooked rice. She was bursting to tell the dragon her idea, but she wasn't sure how much the young monkeys understood their words. She looked at him with sparkling eyes, but he only stared back blankly. "You are?" the dragon said. "I don't understand." "Oh, don't worry," Minley said, and with her eagerness she felt like the water she was boiling. "I think I know how we can pass the monkeys." The dragon watched as Minley stirred the big pot of rice. Through the rising steam he could see the beady eyes of all the monkeys glittering through the branches like hundreds of diamonds as they watched as well. "The monkeys are watching," he whispered to Minley. "Good," she whispered back. "I hope they are." When the rice was done, the pot was overflowing with snowy white rice. It was so heavy that to take it off the fire to cool, she had to ask the dragon to move it for her. Minley had the dragon place it very close to the trees where the monkeys were watching. Then Minley tied her fishnet over the rice and bowl. As Minley and the dragon turned away, they could hear the monkeys chattering. "That fishnet will not stop the monkeys from taking the rice," the dragon said. "It's tightly woven, but their hands will probably fit through." "I know," Minley said as she put the fire out. "Let's pretend that we think the rice is safe and we're letting it cool." Though puzzled, the dragon nodded. They placed themselves a far distance from the rice, yet still within sight, put out the fire and pretended to go to sleep. But Minley couldn't help peeking. Though she tried to lie still, she was filled with excitement. Would her plan work? Would the monkeys take the rice? In the bright light of the moon, the monkeys glanced slyly at them and stole over to the rice. The dragon was right, just as he'd said. The fishnet couldn't keep the monkeys from the rice. Their slender hands slid through the holes of the fishnet and each grabbed two big fistfuls of rice. But as the monkeys tried to carry the rice away, the net caught them. The holes in the net were large enough for their empty hands to fit through, but not large enough for their full fists. The monkeys screamed and pulled, and Minley and the dragon no longer pretended to be asleep. They couldn't help laughing as they watched the monkeys struggling to punch the air and each other with their trapped fists. Minley quickly packed her things, and the monkeys screeched and shrieked as they passed. The heavy pot of rice shook as the monkeys fought violently to get free, but the fishnet was strong and well woven, and since the monkeys were too greedy to let go of the rice, Minley and the dragon entered the peach grove and continued through the forest.